We're cutting across to images of Home Minister Amit Shah in Pahalgam. This is from a few hours ago, so we're getting your deferred images of the Home Minister getting a briefing from security personnel on ground. He's standing at the very spot, the very area where the terror attack happened. There were tourists at this very spot yesterday who were fired at by terrorists, and the Home Minister making it a point to visit that very attack site to understand firsthand what happened. You can see the security personnel there essentially briefing the Home Minister on how these terrorists, how they suspect they entered, how they targeted tourists, and how they went back into hiding. So you see that interaction there. It's muted, so we can't really get you any audio for obvious reasons, because these are details that is sensitive, which will not be released right now, of what the forces have told the Home Minister about the terror attack. But you can see that the Home Minister also is asking them several questions of really what they've seen, of what they know about how these terrorists struck. Important really for these details to go through to the highest levels of the government, because post this at 6 p.m. there is a cabinet meet. Prime Minister Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, the External Affairs Minister, Defence Minister, Finance Minister, all of them will be there. And Home Minister Amit Shah is getting a sense, real-time sense of what happened, so he can then relay it to the Prime Minister. Now, in that cabinet meet, there will be, of course, a discussion of how these terrorists managed to enter this area, attack in a very, very popular tourist spot where thousands of tourists were there, and there was no counter. So was that an intel failure? Why was there no deployment there? Those are questions that the government will look into, but also will look into what kind of response will be given to Pakistan, because the Pakistan footprint is all over this attack. The toolkit is very, very clear that's been used in this particular attack. But these are images from Pahalgam. This entire meadow here, which you see, is a wide, wide expanse of land. It's in this entire area that terror was unleashed, which is why I say thousands of tourists were there. The Home Minister taking a chopper landed straight at the spot of the attack site and got a briefing firsthand from the personnel who know these areas in and out, know these areas like the back of their hands. And so they're briefing the Home Minister on how this attack happened, where the tourists were targeted, and how the terrorists managed to get away. Mind you, this entire area is more or less inaccessible in the sense that there is not a single road that leads up to it. So it's a long trek, or you get there by horseback, and there's no other way to reach the spot, which is why for personnel to reach that area once the terror attack occurred, it took quite some time as well. The Home Minister trying to understand these complications in the operation, trying to understand the entire terrain there and how the terrorists reached right up to where the tourists were. It's extremely worrying, especially because, remember, these terrorists are still out there. There's an operation that's underway to nab them, but considering the head start that they had, that this area being inaccessible, it took time for the personnel to get there. So right after they attacked, they managed to make their way through the densely forested areas that you see there in the backdrop, the mountains that you see there. So they could be anywhere at this point, which is why it's pertinent for really officials, for the security personnel, for the government to know the modus operandi of these terrorists and how they managed to strike, how they attacked these terrorists. Have no doubt in your mind, this was a planned, targeted attack to attack and target civilians at that, innocent people, to target Hindus, because each person who was shot dead was asked for his ID card. I say specifically his, because only men were killed by these terrorists. And as you see this footage of the Home Minister taking stock, he's visited Pahalgam. This is from a few hours ago. He's now visited Anantnag, where he met with the injured. The messaging is clear here. Remember, the Home Minister is there after the Prime Minister directed him to visit these spots. So the messaging from the government is that they're taking this up very, very seriously. You've seen those in the messages that the Home Ministers put out, all the Prime Ministers put out on social media, where with every single message on the Pahalgam attack, in every single social media post, they speak about retaliation. They speak about ensuring that terror attacks like this will not happen in the future. They speak about how they resolve to end terror is, in fact, something that has only been steadfast throughout and hardened more with what's happened right now. these images coming in from Pahalgam of the Home Minister getting a briefing from personnel on the ground on how this kind of a terror attack took place. And as we get you these images, I'm slipping into a short break here on India Today. We're going to continue tracking all the updates that come in the investigation, who these monsters were. Home Minister Amit Shah tracking the latest.